and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to one of our weekly live streams, the last one that I'll be doing before I go on my holidays on Friday. Santa Ponza, I am coming for you. Make sure there's a pint waiting upon arrival. Thanks very much. Good evening, ladies and gents. It is nice to see you. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe. Feel like we'd break up all the talk that we've been having over the last few days around Kasper Schmeichel and Viljamis and Asalo by doing it in a live format, you know. It's nice to hear your points because I've not got to do that yet since the ball's got rolling. Funnily enough, the last time I done one of these live streams, we were sitting here talking about how boring the window's been and how we were desperate for Celtic to make a signing to just break the water. Is that a saying? Break the water? That's not a saying. That's not a saying. Anyway, we wanted them to hurry up and go and make their first signing. And they've done that. So there's a massive change in the transfer landscape from the last time we've done one of these streams. We can actually talk about players who have A, joined the club, and B, look set to join the club in the coming days. Talk about a couple of other things as well. And I get to hear all of your opinions, your questions, give you the answers as well as I can, obviously. It's nice to be back on the live version of things. I do enjoy this. There's over 200 of you already piling in, so thank you all very much. Before we get started and before I turn to you guys, please go down below, hit like and subscribe. We're almost at 44,500 subscribers, by the way, which is insane because we only hit 44k like last week. So let's get to 45k and then we're halfway to the 50k mark. If you want to donate as well, you can always do that. You know how to buy now. Welcome yourselves in. Nice to see some of the regular names. Mackenzie, nice to see you. Ewan, Colin, Daniel, Natalie, ACM, Ryan, Liam, nice to see you. Hope you all said it. Anyway, shall we get into talking about things so that we can get through it all as quickly as possible, and then I can get on to the Q&A section of things, because obviously that's what you're here for mostly. Of course, Celtic have made their first signing of the summer transfer window. We've waited and waited and waited, and it's finally been done. So let's just talk about that first and foremost, get it out the way. Viljamis and Asalo is finally, that's not even a word to use, it all came out of nowhere and happened really, really quickly, but he's finally our first signing of the summer transfer window. It was announced officially by the club yesterday. We won't dwell too much on it because we've spoke about it to death already on the channel. The statement's saying though that he's signed for the club on a 5-year deal from Aston Villa. He's been really excited about the move for some time. He said to Celtic TV that it's been on the cards for a little while and it's nice to get it done, which is really interesting because this was one that was really, really quiet. Now, I do understand, a couple of people pointed it out in my last couple of videos, his name did come up in the transfer window a few weeks ago, but nothing really spawned from it. It was all really, really quiet. And then on Monday afternoon, we got the Sun article which said that he was going to sign for the club. Tuesday he was spotted on the plane. Wednesday he was announced. So it all happened very, very quickly. Or sorry, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday is what I meant to say. It all happened very, very quickly. Viljamis and Salo signing for the club. He said it feels amazing. It's an opportunity he couldn't turn down. It's something he's been looking forward to as soon as he heard of the interest. I've been told about the project for myself and for the football club, and I'm excited to join that. Hopefully the fans can see a lot more of me over the next couple of years. It's a project that's got me here and I'm really excited for it. Then there's a little bit of a breakdown around his career at Exeter City, where he played on loan last season, of course. Brendan Rodgers really wanted the player apparently, and now he's here. You can go and watch his full interview with Celtic TV over on the Celtic YouTube channel. That's possible for you to do if you want to do it. He sounds like a great lad. He sounds really excited to be here. And I think the most interesting point of the whole interview is this line here about he's been told about the project for himself and for the football club and he's excited to join that. I think that essentially backs up a lot of what I was saying in the last couple of videos, where I think this signing goes a lot deeper than just being a backup for Celtic. I think we are potentially looking at Kasper Schmeichel's replacement here. I think we're looking at the guy who will be Celtic's number one in a year or two's time. should he take his chances and prove that he's good enough? I'm not saying that that's guaranteed, considering the fact we don't know how good he is yet firsthand. We've not seen him play for Celtic. He's obviously got to get those minutes, whether it's in cup competitions or whatever. But I think that kind of guarantees that there's a project for him to come in and be the understudy to Kasper Schmeichel, so that he's prepared to take on that role whenever he hangs up the gloves. So I'm personally really excited for that, because I think that off the reading and off of what I've seen, he looks like a good young keeper to bring in. By all accounts, the Exeter City fans have been raving about him and tweeting at Celtic fans saying, listen, you'll really like him, you don't know what you've got, you'll be really happy with this signing. He was Exeter City's player of the season last year. He stopped more goals than any goalkeeper in the entire Football League, which includes the Championship, League 1 and League 2. There is definitely a talent here at only 22 years of age as well. Very young end of the spectrum when it comes to goalkeepers, and he's been playing first team football, which is most important. And then also, when you throw in the fact, the Aston Villa fans, if you go to the post of Aston Villa saying Viljami Sinsalo's moving on, he's going to Celtic, a lot of the players, a lot of the fans in the replies quite disappointed at the fact that Sinsalo is moving on. A lot of them saying that they'll live to regret it and they don't think it was the right move. A lot of them hoping it was a loan deal. But he's left. He's joined Celtic on a 5-year contract. We know the final details are a deal that goes to around £1 million for the Finnish goalkeeper. And hopefully we see a good look of him at the weekend in the game against DC United. I assume he will get at least a full half between the sticks for Celtic. So it is only pre-season. I urge you, please, 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 listen, if Viljami Sinsalo somehow drops a clanger, spills the ball into the back of the net, or something goes wrong, don't write him off. Don't say that he's finished, that he's not good enough. It's pre-season, it's friendlies. It's going to take him a bit of time to get up to speed and get himself into this Celtic setup. He's got a lot more responsibility now being a Celtic goalkeeper than being an Exeter City goalkeeper. And I mean that with all due respect to Exeter City. But this is the thing. You've got to be patient with these sort of projects. I'm hoping that we see a lot of them in maybe the cup competitions this year. And I'm looking forward to maybe the future of him being number one at the club. So Viljami Sinsalo was here. I've seen a lot of people ask in the chat. There was one comment in particular that I seen before we went live. It was Paul who said, is Kasper ever actually going to sign? Is he really signing? Yes, he is signing. For anybody who's wondering what's happening with Kasper Schmeichel, he should be ideally announced as a Celtic player tomorrow. There isn't a guarantee on that. The plan was for him to sit the medical on Tuesday night, which was last night as we know, and then fly to America tomorrow to join up with the Celtic team. Now, I don't know if they're going to want to have the photos with him first so they can announce it properly. It might be a late one with the time difference tomorrow, remember. So they're in America. They are, 6-7 hours behind. It might be late in the evening, but Kasper Schmeichel could be announced tomorrow, assuming the medical has been passed. He will pass the medical. There's no doubt about that. He's just finished playing at the Euros with Denmark. He'll be fit and ready to go. It'll either be tomorrow or Friday, I would assume Kasper Schmeichel is announced a Celtic player. So, yeah, Kasper Schmeichel's coming in. Viljami Sinsalo's coming in. You can tick the goalkeepers off of the list for the summer this year. And happy days. It's just nice to have goalkeepers in. ACM asking, what are my thoughts on the new keepers? And just to keep it short and sweet so I can get to the questions and answers properly. I'm happy with it. At first, I was a little... I don't even want to use the word negative, because I don't think negative was the word. It certainly wasn't around the player. I was a little presumptuous that the Schmeichel signing wasn't the right idea. But now seeing that there's a plan going forward with Sinsalo, and then when you consider how good a keeper Kasper Schmeichel's been through his career, I think that Schmeichel's a good fix for the next year to come in to fill the spot of a leader like Joe Hart and to keep quality in goals pretty much. I think you could maybe argue that Schmeichel's a better shot stopper than Joe Hart. I think you could argue that. But anyway, I'm happy with the situation for now. We now just need to go and really give the fans something to shout about. I know a lot of people still in the comments section not so happy about the situation with Schmeichel. There's still people on that side. And listen, if that's your thinking, that's fine. I think it's fair to have that opinion. But as long as the board now go out and back the manager and signing outfield players, we have a really good chance of having a strong transfer window. So I'm happy with it. Sinisalo in, people asking for the Schmeichel update. We should have that announcement either tomorrow or Friday for Schmeichel signing for Celtic. It will definitely be over the next few days. Nonetheless, I'm excited, happy. There's the goalkeeper situation done and dusted. I'm seeing a lot of talk of Adam Ida in the chat. We'll get to Adam Ida in a minute. The next signing that we're waiting on past the point of goalkeepers is Paulo Bernardo, who looks set to become a Celtic player also in the coming days, also scheduled to be shipped out to America as well to join up with the squad. Details emerged in Portugal surrounding his contract, which would basically say that he's signing for us. Thank you, Chrissy, by the way, for the £2 donation. Shout out to you, saying Paddy Roberts could still do a job on the wing. Nah. Leave him in the past. Not for me. I think that ship sailed a long time ago. Thank you for the donation, though. And I do love Paddy Roberts, so don't get me wrong, Chrissy. I do love him. So Paulo Bernardo, we got the update from Stephen McGowan over the weekend. I think it was Sunday evening or Monday evening. Is saying that the fee had been agreed of around £3.5 million plus a sell-on clause for Benfica, but publication Boca, is it Boca? Let me get it right. Ebola in Portugal have released details surrounding his contract. They say that reportedly the clubs have agreed the fee of €3.5 million, and he's set to sign a 4-year contract close to €4 million. To sign with Celtic. So in exchange rates, that would be roughly £3.3 million over the course of 4 years, which if you break it down, it brings it to around £17,500 a week, which is good. I mean, listen, there was the whole thing a few weeks ago that there was a major stumbling block with Paulo Bernardo signing for Celtic because he wanted the club to match what he was on at Benfica. Now, it wasn't easy to go out and find exactly what he's on at Benfica. I did do a video on this. I did some research. Some articles were saying he was on as much as €30,000 a week at Benfica. Now, that's not guaranteed, but the talk of the story was that there was a stumbling block that Celtic weren't going to match €30,000, say. Which is a believable story. 30,000 is a believable number if Celtic weren't willing to match that. That works out as something like £26,000 a week. Celtic were not going to pay that to a player who's not guaranteed to be a starter at Celtic. However, they've managed to negotiate. They've brought that number down, and according to the Portuguese outlet Ebola, apparently £17,500 a week over 4 years for Paulo Bernardo to sign for Celtic. I think it's a very good deal all round. £3.5 million is a great figure to pay. If you remember back at the end of last season when we were talking about should we sign Bernardo on a permanent deal, I said, listen, it would be ideal if we could sign him for something in the region of £3 to £4 million. We've done exactly that. I think this is a really, really good deal for Celtic. Even if Paulo Bernardo isn't starting games for the club, which I don't know what the long-term vision for him is. I don't know if he is going to be the Matt O'Reilly replacement. Listen, we're not going to open that conversation right now. Nonetheless, Bernardo is someone who gives me a lot of comfort being on the bench. I think that he's somebody who brings quality onto the park. He comes in when you need him to come in and does the job. So I'm really happy with it. I think £3.5 million is, and I take the words out of Colin here, is a steal. I really do. I don't think you'll find many better players, proven good players, for that price in this current climate. So I'm really happy with that deal. We'll get on to your thoughts about Bernardo in a minute. Before we get into the Q&A, because I really do want to get into that. Everybody is asking, Adam Ida, what is the update with Adam Ida? What is happening with Adam Ida? Listen, there is no movement on the deal right now. The initial bid of £4.5 million has been rejected by Norwich. Celtic are yet to make a second bid for the player. Will it happen tonight? I don't know. Will it happen tomorrow? I don't know. Will it ever happen? I don't know. Celtic have not made a second bid for Ida yet. Interestingly, Adam Ida played tonight against Club Brugge in their friendly. I'm seeing a lot of comments saying that he only played half an hour. It is only a friendly at the end of the day, so I wasn't expecting him to go out and play 90 minutes against Club Brugge tonight. He did start the game, he was on the team sheet. By all accounts, it seems to be the case of the new manager wanting to see what he has with Adam Ida, but he is in Belgium on their pre-season tour. Celtic will go back in with a second offer. I can virtually guarantee that. They will go in with a second offer. How higher will they go, though? That is the question. I don't think Celtic will go above... I would put a max number of £6 million on it. I don't think that the club will pay more than £6 million for Adam Ida. They've rejected £4.5 million. It's time to see what the next one is. I think they might bump it up to around 5 with bonuses. You know, maybe a sell-on clause, maybe appearance clauses. I don't know. I think the next one might be around £5 million in all honesty, plus any add-ons on top of it. They are playing hardball. We are waiting to see what happens, but there hasn't been a second bid yet. I don't know how comfortable you feel with all of that right now, but that is literally where we're standing. We can't make a story out of thin air. Sadly, nothing else to go off just yet. Hopefully, I mean, my dream and my hope is that tonight is that we go out and we put in a second bid. Now that he's played his first game, maybe that the manager's got a bit more in his mind about Adam Ida, maybe they can have a conversation. But they are away just now, so we might need to wait until Norwich return back to the UK before there's any progression on that deal. Thank you to FIMC Scraps Mum. Scraps Mum, £2. Thank you for the donation. Really do appreciate it. Saying, how would I feel if they don't pay for Ida? Well, listen, at the end of it, I'm seeing a few things. Thank you for the donation, by the way, mate. It's much appreciated and God bless. I'm seeing a lot of people saying, you know, 5 max for Ida. Ida isn't worth 6 million. Thought it would be 5 million, for example. So just to come back to your point here, mate, on your donation. Listen, I've not got a problem with Celtic not paying for Ida if it's an outrageous price they're being asked to pay. Should we pay any more than £6 million? I think in my mind, I would say £6 million is the highest I would go. I don't run the club. It's not my money at the end of the day. I don't think the club will pay any more than that. How much would it take for me to be angry, actively angry that the board haven't paid for Adam Ida? I'm not sure. But if it comes out that Norwich want something like £5.5 million and Celtic aren't willing to pay it, I would be quite pissed off. I would be quite annoyed at that. It is just about patience and waiting to see what the club want. And you've got to remember, at this point, right? At this point, Celtic don't just run this entire negotiation. You know, it works two ways. You need two to tango. Norwich have a massive part to play in this whole negotiation, so you just need to be patient about it. You've just got to wait and see. So we'll wait and see what the next reported bid is, but hopefully it's something that Celtic find appropriate to match. So just a quick rundown on the transfer update for this evening. We should expect Kasper Schmeichel in the next couple of days. Viljamis and Salo has signed. Paulo Bernardo also should be signing in the next week. And Adam Ida, we are awaiting a second bid for him. We don't know if we're going to go in with that bid yet. We just need to wait and see. That's essentially your quick fire update right now. Thank you for the donation. Word Up Conflict, who says, should sign Ewan Loudon as our third striker. Don't know who he is, but thank you for the advice. And thank you for the donation. I very much do appreciate it, Word Up Conflict. Right, let's get into your questions and answers. We'll start with this. Any news on the winger from Belgium? Funnily enough, I was actually asked this on my walk today. I was at a walk, bumped into somebody. They asked, have you got any news about the Belgian winger? No, nothing more than the original story. Balikwisha, Belgian winger. We're going to call him Ange because his middle name's Ange. Ange. There is no more on that as of yet. It's the original story saying that Celtic are interested, and apparently that Celtic have inquired about the availability of the player and what price it would take to get him. Apart from that, there is nothing yet. I can't help but stress enough what I said in my video on the original story. Don't get your hopes up. For as good as he looks, I think he looks like a cracking player, and I think he would be a great signing for the club. He's somebody that, by all accounts, I would love to see the club actually push for and try to go for. But remember, he's valued at €9 million. That's a lot of money for Celtic and this board to spend on. We've spent, Eduard is our highest signing, highest amount of money we spent a player ever, and that was in 2019. We've not come anywhere close to it since. So it's a case of just waiting and seeing if any more comes out about it. But there's nothing more. Wee Ange, yep, that's I'm going to call him Wee Ange for eternity. So, oh great, Widgie Tridick, great player, always wanted him. Fantastic news, Ricos. Thank you. I see somebody saying I don't get that one, but have you not heard of him? Widgie Tridick, great player, Widgie Tridick, love him. Anyway, right, questions and answers. Let's get into it. But yeah, I've gave you the quick rundown. If you've missed anything, I'm not repeating it. Go back and watch it for the start. Right, let's go. Questions and answers. That's only his transfer market valuation. No, exactly. That's the point I made in my video the other day was if that's his transfer market valuation, usually that means that clubs actually want more. Usually transfer market are way down on the valuation in my eyes. It never seems like they get matched in real life. So I think this is a player that Antwerp might turn around and say, we want 15 million, 20 million pounds for. So don't get your hopes up about it. This could be a flash in the pan suggestion of a signing, to be quite honest, from the media. Celtic fans saying Balikwisha is exactly the calibre of signing we should be making, rather than wasting millions here and there on players like Yang and Kuhn. We should have just gone for someone like Balikwisha. You can't argue it when you look at the results in the park with some of these players. Yang and Kuhn yet to prove their worth to the side, yet to prove that they're good enough. So you can't really argue your logic, mate. But yeah. What about defending players? Nothing more yet. The last thing that we heard about defenders actually was the links with Darryl O'Shea of Burnley, which hasn't been brought back up again in the media. So nothing yet. I think that the club are really wanting to get these four over the line. So the Sinsalo signing, Schmeichel, Ida and Bernardo, I think that's the focus. And then they might turn to defenders following that. Very busy window ahead. We've still got a month and 13 days, just under a month and a half left, so there is time to make signings. Don't get too panicky just yet, is what I would say. Yeah, listen, Transfermarkt is a great site. It's a fantastic site. In fact, I tip my hat to the people who run Transfermarkt, but it's not like their valuations are claiming to be what a player should be worth. Listen, at the end of the day, the only people who can set a value to their players isn't anybody online, isn't any journalist, isn't me or you. It's the club themselves. Football nowadays, it's not about how good the player is, it's about how valuable they are to the football club they play for. Matt O'Reilly, listen, the way I've always put it is, I mean, look at Anthony for prime example. Anthony's not a £90 million player. Christ, he's not even a £30 million player. He's not even a £20 million player. I actually think that in football, nobody should really be a £50-60 million player, never mind anything above that. But the fact is, a player like Anthony, he was worth £90 million to Ajax. And that's how transfer valuations work. So sites like Transfermarkt, and journalists and anybody, they don't set the valuations of players. Clubs do, and that's where it all comes back to. Smell the Glove says, Ryan, surely O wouldn't have been sold unless another striker was way down the line transfer-wise. Well, you'd like to think so, but was that the club capitalising on a move while the opportunity was there, while the money was there? Were Genk maybe the one only suitor of O? Was that the only chance they were maybe going to get that sort of money for him in this window, that sort of deal for him? That was my initial thinking to that deal, because I don't think O would have been a very easy player to get rid of in this window for the sort of money that we did get for him, for profit. Because he's not done anything at Celtic to show that he's worth any profit. So have they jumped on that deal while they could? Perhaps they have. That's my thinking on it. And I also think that Brendan Rodgers trusts Dyson Maeda to maybe come in as a striker as well. If need be, he's relying probably on Kyogo staying fit for the opening exchanges of the season. And he should be. But hopefully we do have a signing in by September 1st, which means if we need to, Maeda can maybe move up top. But I do get what you're saying, Smell the Glove, absolutely. Ryan meant to say Anderlecht signing Giancarlo Simic from Milan for $3 million. Bargain of the century at 19 years old. Why are Celtic not all over that? So frustrating. Listen, if I was a scout, I would be able to tell you why they're not all over it, but I don't know who's on the radar of Celtic, to be quite honest. That's all I can say to that. But there's so many deals every year like that, similar to that Celtic aren't all over. And it's just because they haven't got their foot in the door with some players. Whereas teams are ready to move on the players they really, really want. Let's see. What else? Yeah, this is fun. Ewan saying my thoughts on Clement saying Rangers don't have enough money for players. Yeah, just they're in a right state, aren't they? And do you know what? I don't want to speak too much on this because at the end of the day, it's not a Rangers channel, and it's just funny to look at more than anything. I mean, Christ, it gives me a good laugh seeing Rangers not being able to afford players. But this really, I wish this would give the club the incentive to go out and, I mean this with all due respect, I don't really, but I mean this with all due respect, to go out and snap the neck of Rangers like a twig. You know, Celtic could guarantee themselves 4 or 5 years of solid dominance and really put Rangers in the mud if they wanted to. But they don't seem to do it, which really annoys me. But yeah, baffling situation over at Ibrox. We'll see how the rest of the window goes for them. But right now, up until September 1st, it's only my signings that I really want to focus on. Let's see, what else can we... Would I have a Greg Taylor tattoo? What a random question. Probably not. And don't put it in my head, because I'm going to Santa Pons on Friday, and I don't want to walk into I don't want to stumble into a tattoo parlour and say, "Yeah, mate, can I get GT3 on, man?" No, I'll pass. Thanks very much. Yeah, see, the thing is Clement not come out and said this, that he values Butland at 30 million? Fucking mad. So basically, Butland's being held hostage, really. Anyway. What else? What other questions have we got? Even if that Belgian guy's worth 15 million, how can Celtic not pay that for a player board being miserable? And I'll tell you why they won't, right? And even though I agree, it's miserable that our board don't want to take a gamble and don't want to take a risk. But do you know why? Because it's too big a gamble and it's too big a risk. This is the way that I've always worded it. And listen, I want Celtic to have more ambition as a club. Don't get the wires crossed here in what I'm saying. Don't. I want Celtic to have ambition, to go out and spend money. But we sign players for £1.5 million. They have a bad game. And in this modern age, with social media being so prevalent in player reviews, they're thrown under the bus, they're called rotten, they're called done, called a waste of money very, very quickly. Can you imagine the pressure that would be on not just the player, but Celtic as a football club if we sign someone for £15 million? It's a disaster waiting to happen, and that's why it won't happen. Because if we spend £15 million on a player and it doesn't work out, we aren't Manchester United. We aren't guaranteed hundreds of millions of pounds streaming into the club year upon year to make up for a dodgy 15 million we spent. 15 million not being spent well could be detrimental, and that's why the club won't do it. And this isn't me backing up the board by any means. I do want the club to be ambitious, but the pressure on that sort of signing is a step too far for a club like Celtic, I think. And also smell the club with a very good point as well, which was the next thing I was going to come on to. Somebody coming in for that amount of money is going to break the wage structure. And that is something that the board are so against doing. So against doing. Nobody has come in and broke the wage structure. And they're not going to do it on somebody who's young coming from Belgium without the guarantee of superstar status. You know, listen, I'm just throwing a name out here. This isn't me saying that Celtic are going to sign him or anything, but it would take somebody like a John McGinn, who has now been playing for Villa, Scottish, Celtic fan, blah, blah, or a Kieran Tierney coming back for us to break the wage structure, I think. They're not going to do it in a young lad from Belgium. And they're not going to do it for some young lad from any country for that amount of money. They're just not. So that's a big part of it as well. Thank you, Dylan, as well, who says, roll on 55. Absolutely, roll on the 55 indeed. By the way, over 500 live viewers. Thank you all so much. That is incredible support for tonight. And thank you so far to everybody who's donated. Dylan, Word.com, Flake, Scraps Your Mum, and Chrissy. Thank you so far. Let's get a few more questions before I go off tonight, because I feel like I've had to properly rush this evening. And I don't know why. No, because he's injured, and I don't think have they even confirmed when he's back yet? I don't think so. But no, listen, Kieran Tierney's not coming back. Let's see. I said in the previous video that Celtic should be signing 1 or 2 players a year around £6 to £8 million with experience in Europe every transfer window to build an experienced European squad. I agree if the money's there to bring in players. It's just about if they're there. The right players, of course. I agree with it as long as it's the right players, Jake. Not just any random dick that's played in Europe. And yeah, I would rather, I'd rather 3, 5, £6 million players than one £15 million player as well, I think. I would probably agree with that. Listen, a £15 million signing would be fantastic. As long as they're the right one. As long as it's somebody. But is it worth doing it on somebody you don't know? It's a big thing. It's a completely different conversation that we don't even really need to have because it's not going to happen. But I do want to see how the Belikwisha stuff progresses. I do want to see where that goes. Let's see. Yeah, bury them and pull out the finger. Exactly, Ewan. I wish that they would. What's the construction out park? I don't know, actually. I think they're just maybe doing up the car park in the Lisbon Line end. I think that's it. But I couldn't tell you. Why is your neck so white? I don't tan. And I've not been abroad yet, mate. Give me a fucking minute. I'm joking, Michael. I've not been abroad yet. That's why it's so white. But I don't tan. I don't pick up colour. I only pick up colour down here in my forearm. That's it. I've never took colour well. But thank you for pointing out the whiteness of my neck. I'd sign Jota back for 25 million, signed Tierney for 20 million. Job done, summer over. If only. I thought we were going for McKenna. No, he's signing for Copenhagen permanently, Mackenzie. I believe. I don't know if is he signed yet? Let me check. The last I read that it was Scott McKenna. Has he signed for them yet? If transfer market would load. No, he's not signed for them yet, actually. Still a free agent, Scott McKenna. Interestingly. Don't think Celtic are going to go for him, though, anyway. Any potential return for Jota? No. People have asked it 2 transfer windows in a row now. No, not going to happen. He's not. If he leaves Al Ittihad, he's not coming back to Celtic. I hate to be the bearer of bad news and the downer on things, but he's not going to. People saying McKenna, no thanks, McKenna is pish. Listen, I'm not disagreeing. Somebody was asking the question. Signing McKenna would be like replacing Scales with Scales, but no ginger. A lovely comparison there, by the way. Poor Scalesy. I hope we get defenders in soon. I really do. I really want us to get defenders in soon. We've not been linked with a left back yet. It's mad, isn't it? As I said, I think when we tie up these 4 players, whether Ida comes in or not, when all that's done with those 4, I think we might start hearing stuff on defenders. Anyway, if we don't get Ida, go for Miovski, somebody says. I've never been too bothered about the Miovski stuff. You know me. If he signs, he signs. But I don't think he will. Left back skills need upgraded, absolutely. What centre-backs would I choose? I do like the sound of Darryl Shea. I really do. I think Darryl Shea would be a good signing. But you're talking maybe up to £10 million, maybe more. So it would be difficult. What's wrong with Nawrocki? Nothing's wrong with him. If you're asking, I'm not against Nawrocki. I like Nawrocki. But he's injured as well, isn't he? I don't know if we've heard an update on him after going off at air. Thank you to Shay, by the way, for the £2. Very much appreciated. If we only sign Casper, Bernardo and Ida, it will be a bit disappointing watching the same team as last season and go again. That won't be it. Listen, I'm confident in saying it. That won't be the only signings. We will sign defenders. We need to sign a left back. We can't go into this season without another left back. Taylor can't be the only fit left back, especially with the amount of football getting played next year. This is the new Champions League format as well, so no way is that they're going to be the only signings. There he is. We've got a couple of donations, by the way. I'll get to them in a second. Thank you, lads. I'll get to these in a moment because the man is here. Voice Tech, nice to see you. You must be delighted. He says he's glad. Hello, Ryan. I'm glad that Vindal is staying at Sparta Prague, but Schmeichel will be really good for Celtic. Can't wait for the leagues to start both in Czech and Scotland. Listen, enjoy him. It's a shame we never got him, but I'll take Casper as well. It's nice to see you, Voice Tech, and best of luck for the new season. I'm sure I'll see you a few more times in the streams. Also, massive shout outs to both Ian and Peter, who have donated. Ian saying something towards the Holiday Drinks Fund. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. I will raise my pint to you, and thank you for the drink at the time. Thank you, Ian. It is much appreciated, mate. God bless. And Peter as well saying, cheers, Ryan. Cheers to you too, Peter. Once again, I will raise a glass when I'm in Santa Pons on Friday thinking of you. Shay as well. News on Bernardo and Ida had to donate again. I did talk about it earlier in the stream. Listen, what I'll do is, because I'm approaching 35 minutes, which is a long stream. So I'll finish off the stream by giving a quick run through again, and then we can go off the air. But thank you, Shay. So as it stands, to finish off this evening, ladies and gentlemen, we know that Viljami Sinsalo has signed. He signed a 5-year deal and joins for around a fee of £1 million. He is there. He's in America. Kasper Schmeichel is set to jet off to America tomorrow, if reports are to be believed. He should be announced as a Celtic player either tomorrow night or Friday. So keep an eye out for that. Coming in, obviously, on a free contract. Adam Ida, no second bid has been submitted yet by Celtic. He did play tonight for Norwich in their pre-season friendly against Club Brugge. So we need to wait and see if Celtic submit a second bid or not. The initial bid of £4.5 million was rejected by Norwich. And Paulo Bernardo has had a deal agreed both on the club side of things and the player side of things. We're hearing a deal of £3.5 million has been agreed with Benfica. A contract of roughly £17,500 a week over the course of 4 years has also been agreed with the player. He should be announced in the next week as a Celtic player officially too. So there is your update. Thank you to Doug. I appreciate it, saying add this to your drinks fund. God, I feel bad. I feel like I love you. You're the best. Oh, fuck. Oh, look at you, man. Smell the glove. Thank you. I do appreciate it. I really do. And do you know what's even... I actually do appreciate it a lot, because I actually should address this before I go to over 5, because I'm assuming the over 500 people in here are regular viewers. I will be going to Celtswell, don't worry. So thank you, Doug. Love you, mate. Appreciate it. And thank you to Smell the Glove. God bless. Great, loyal viewers, a lot of yous, and I do appreciate the donations. I should address this actually, so you all know. There will be a video tomorrow on the channel. We will be back on tomorrow, so don't worry. There will be a video on Friday. I'm not leaving till about 3 o'clock on Friday, so I'll have a video up as well. I'm away Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I'll be back on Wednesday. However, you know me. I don't like letting yous go. I do my best. I have packed the equipment. The microphones are in the bag. If something happens, I'll report on it. If nothing happens, I'll be sunbathing with a pint. Take that. No, I'm joking. But if something happens, I will be there to report it. I'll have the camera, I'll have the microphones with me, and I will talk about it while I'm there. If not, I'm going to try and pre-record something to put up for some Sunday viewing. So expect a Sunday video. I am relying on a couple of things though to happen, and if I want to do that. So it might be there, it might not be there. If you don't hear from me, you'll see me next Wednesday. Put it that way. But I'm taking my stuff anyway. I'm only away for a short one this time. It's not a full week or anything. I'm only away Friday through Tuesday. So I'll be back on Wednesday. Thank you, Chrissy. A wee shot of Sambuca. Do you know me? I love a Sambuca. I'm a Sambuca man. Thank you, Chrissy. God bless. And thank you, Sean, as well. Appreciate your work, Ryan. Oliver Capo, CSC. God, not heard that name in a long time. You donated twice. I don't know if you meant that. I feel bad. So thank you all, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate it. Once more, just to shout out everybody. Chrissy, Scraps Mum, Word Up Cornflake, Dylan, Shay, Ian, Peter, Shay, Doug, Smell the Glove, Chrissy, and Sean. Thank you all so much for the donations. It is appreciated. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, Wednesday night. Don't even know what day I'm on. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday night. I will be back on the channel tomorrow. God bless, and I'll see you